This is attending to some sad businesses today, and so I'll be chairing in her absence. This is typically the time when people can present their, non-committee members can present their budget amendments. I want you to be assured that we're going to go over the amendments anyway, and I certainly hope that you will reach out to each one of us about the bills you care about. But the amendments you care most about, I just want to give you a little bit of information going in. There are 841 Senate member amendments totaling almost 7.9 billion, with $1 billion across all the fiscal years, the 2 fiscal years, or if you include items related to revenues. So, and there's some people that have talked about raising revenues too. So it reduces it to $4.1 billion. I would encourage you today to limit your presentations to the 3 or 5 things that are most important to you, if you can. But reach out to us, or reach out to committee members, reach out to staff about whatever you want. But certainly today, talk about the things that are most important to you, and we will go from there. Senator Aird, you're first on the list.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Heeding your advice and being first up, I will certainly be briefly as I touch upon my top 3. And so, Mr. Chair, I'd first like to draw your attention to item 125, pound 17S, which would create a cap on the local composite index at 0.65 for Surrey County, which is within my district. This is a unique situation because Surrey County currently has the highest possible calculator for the LCI of 0.8, which is predominantly the result of the nuclear power facility as it relates to Surrey's low population of 6,500. So when you think about that small population and the fact that it's being driven up because of that sole entity being located in Surrey, it really is having an outsized negative impact on them. And so I wanted to bring this to the attention of the committee, recognizing the price tag, but because this has plagued them for so long, we really do need to finally do something about this. And so to further explain this need, because of its critical nature, I've brought Dr. Herbert Monroe, the superintendent of Surrey County Schools, who can further emphasize on this problem. Dr. Monroe.
Thank you so much. Great afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Herbert T. Monroe III. I'm the proud superintendent for Surrey County Public Schools, and it is a plum pleasing pleasure to be here today to advocate for Surrey County Public Schools. I just want to say, first of all, that for Surrey County Public Schools, a high local composite index of 0.80 presents significant funding challenges under the Virginia current school financing system. The LCI rating, one of the highest in the state, indicates that Surrey is perceived as highly able to fund its education costs locally, which in turn reduces state contributions. That has a significant impact on the retention and recruitment of staff and places a burden on the school division and the county. Surrey County Public Schools students qualify for free and reduced lunch, and I will say loudly, 94.15%. However, yet our LCI is 0.80. These 2 data sources on the financial circumstances of Surrey County residents do not tell the same story. I will say that the LCI formula needs reform and more equitable funding adjustments that reflect the true educational cost and include adjustments for unique school divisions like Surrey. Let me just break it down like this. For example, this young lady here, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but how many classes did you have in 6th grade? Did you have to take English? Just say yes or no. Did you have to take math? Yes or no. Science, social studies, possibly 2 electives, right? Well, let me just educate the board by strictly saying this. Right now, with the LCI and our SOQs, we only have 2.8 teacher positions funded. So right now, not only are they funded, but they're only funded at 20%. So what are we going to do for the other 4 teachers that we need to teach those other courses? And how in the world, can we pay the 80%? So I just want to emphasize how serious this really is, because as we know, teachers are an endangered species that will soon become extinct if we can't pay them a fair salary, if we can't offset the cost of insurance, if we can't give them the cost of living raise, and if we can't even put them on a step to make sure our teachers are paid on the proper step. So as we all know, education is the great equalizer, and I would like to emphasize to this committee that we really make a strong stance to correct this LCI, because it matters for our kids and for our future. And the Dominion Power Plant, like I said, is the outlier. And if we maybe weight that, or maybe if we eliminate that, then I think we can get a true, equitable, and fair local composite index. I thank everyone so much. And are there any questions at this time?
Thank you, sir. No, I appreciate, we're familiar with the issue.
Is that okay? Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Again, we could debate the LCI all day long. I know you've heard it before, but in the case of Surrey County, it really is a unique dynamic. I'm going to really quickly go through my final two top priorities. And so I'd like to also touch on item 124, pound 18S. This would provide one-time funding to the city of Petersburg to hire 3 full-time social workers tasked with chronic absenteeism. As you know, this is a unique problem that we are seeing across divisions throughout the state. And in Petersburg specifically, we're seeing 30% of students chronically absent. And so we're hoping that with this one-time funding request, this would be a tool that they can use to combat this crisis. And finally, this well exceeds what was advised to me, which was to try and think about one-time expenses with small price tags, but I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot anyway and draw my attention to item 0, pound 4S, which would create a one-time, a state-level refundable child tax credit, which would be structured to offer $300 per child age 12 or younger to families making less than $100,000 a year. What I would say is we saw how well this worked during the pandemic at a different set of criteria, of course, to actually go towards bringing down child poverty significantly. And at a time where families are asking for more money in their pockets to help with their day-to-day needs, this is one way and one option and tool that we have to try and do that. And so, Mr. Chair, I'd ask that you look favorably upon these requests. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Ayer. Thank you so much. Senator Williams Graves is next.
Good afternoon. Yep, we're just there. Good afternoon. So I have a couple of priorities here. Some of them I have tied together because they go together. First one is item number 359, hashtag 5S, and it is our coastal storm risk management budget amendment. This request is for $50 million to support phases 1A and 1B. We were already included in the 2025 budget. This is for the 2026 year. And this will allow Norfolk to unlock $1.7 billion in federal funding because of the non-city match that we are required to have. As you know, Norfolk is vital to Virginia's commercial, trade, and naval center, with port activities and military presence contributing about $27 billion annually to the local and state economy. In addition, Norfolk is home to the largest naval base in the world and hosts the largest number of military assets. We face growing risk of flooding and coastal storm damage with projected unmitigated annual revenue losses of $388 million by 2040. This mega project represents the first coastal storm risk management program being constructed pre-disaster. So it is our effort to be proactive and not reactive in trying to rebuild and trying to protect the city instead of rebuilding. The CSRM project is federally authorized, a project between the City of Norfolk and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The project will be implemented over 5 years, and the authorized total cost of the project is $2.6 billion. In the end, the project includes planning, design, and construction of storm surge barriers, nearly 9 miles of flood walls and levees, 11 tide gates, 10 pump stations, renovations, 703 home elevations, 250 basement fills, 13 commercial locations being armed with floodproofing and natural and nature-based features. This project is not just critical to the survival of Norfolk, but as we see increasing flood and storm events more frequently, this project is integral to the health, well-being, and survival of every Hampton Roads city connected to it. That is item number 359, hashtag 5S. In addition to that, I'm going to pivot to item 373, hashtag 4S, which is a language amendment only. Y'all will probably love this because it's not asking for any money. It is a language amendment only that I am patroning with Senator DeSteph. This language only amendment clarifies that the city of Norfolk's interest, do I need to talk about it because it doesn't need money? Or are y'all good? Tell you?
Tell them it saves Norfolk.
Okay, it's gonna save,
$25 million.
okay, I'm gonna get there. It's gonna save Norfolk $11 million, therefore preventing us from having to come to the state and ask you all for $11 million. Does that work? Okay, so I was getting there. They told me to get to the good parts. So the language only amendment clarifies that the city of Norfolk's interest in a submerged water pipe is ours. It's submerged in the Elizabeth River, and the Army Corps of Engineers is basically saying if we don't own it, we have to remove it, and if we remove it, it's $11 million. So if the state gives us permission to own it, then we don't have to remove it, therefore saving the city of Norfolk $11 million and saving us from coming back to the state for $11 million. Keep going. Okay, all right. That's the two for storm risk management. The second, the second couple that I have are a combination between, or it's actually a project between Norfolk State University and William and Mary University to modernize their ERP. This budget amendment will modernize the enterprise resource planning, better known as ERP, which is a software system that will help universities manage and automate their core business processes, such as finance, human resources, supply chain, manufacturing, and public relations by integrating all the data into one single platform, providing a unified view of operations and a single source. Currently now, Norfolk State and William and Mary, if they hire someone, those individuals have to log on and off to about 15 to 18 different sites in order to complete their onboarding, and this process takes several months to complete. The Virginia Public Universities, this is an inefficient business process. However, this budget amendment will allow us to become more efficient. This is a pilot collaboration that will allow participating institutions to adopt common tactical standards and a shared approach to mitigation. This is, again, a pilot project, and it is a collaboration between Norfolk State and between William and Mary. And between the two budget amendments, the first is for $3.2 million for Norfolk State University, and the second is $3.6 million for William and Mary University. This is for implementation only. This is not going to require, they'll be back in 2 years for final implementation, but this is not going to create any ongoing costs over the course of years, but it will create in the neighborhood of about $18 million in savings over the course of time. Next, we have a pair that are fairly small. The combination is an ask of $500,000 for a community organization. It is item number 331, hashtag 1S, combined with item number 331, hashtag 13S. And these amendments provide $400,000 to Rec League as a nonprofit organization and $100,000 to Visions of Truth Community Development Corporation, also as a nonprofit organization. Rec League provides community violence intervention services in the city of Norfolk. And they do an amazing job with our young people between the ages of 13 and 21 in job training. They also do work for returning citizens in helping them to get reacclimated into society, getting into job services, and getting hired and getting themselves self-sufficient. The Visions of Truth Community Development Corporation offers mental health counseling services in the city of Portsmouth to marginalized communities throughout the Hampton Roads area, but they are based in Portsmouth. And they improve the quality of life for vulnerable families. They are currently in our budget. This is an additional $100,000 so that they can sustain and expand the services that they currently offer. Last set is the Urban Renewal Center. This is Budget Amendment 394. Hashtag 4S. This is a budget amendment for approximately $1.4 million broken down into two years. This establishes a wholeness-based support system that is in partnership with Centera Health Services for underserved victims and survivors of violence-related trauma in the Southampton Roads area. And then last but not least, everybody loves Dolly Parton. And so we're asking for in item 124, hashtag 44S, we're asking for $2.9 million. I'm sorry, we're asking for $1.8 million in the first year, $2.9 million in the second year to expand the Dolly Parton Imagination Library Program to increase access and age-appropriate high-quality books for all children in Virginia under the age of 5 years old. So those are my priorities. I thank you for your time.
Thank you,
And I
Senator.
didn't even spend all the money.
Thank you, Senator Williams-Graves. Senator Durant.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. I will do my best to not be verbose. If I may, I turn the priority to item number 125, number 3S. Is that okay? Okay. So this is K-12 education LCI adjustment. So the impact of disabled veteran real property tax relief has placed an unintended financial burden on certain localities in the Commonwealth. For example, in 2024, my home county, Stafford County, forgave impact $23 million in real estate taxes, which is 10% of Stafford County's total real estate tax revenue. To simply fill this funding gap, this creates Stafford has to increase the real estate taxes by 8 cents annually. And Stafford has raised taxes by 30% for the last 3 years in order to meet that shortfall. Compounding the problem is the fact that this problem has grown by an average of 32% per year over the past 10 years. This amendment would add language that would exclude the value of the exempted properties when calculating the local composite index. And currently the LCI includes this 23 million Stafford's calculation. So that's an inaccurate assessment of the county's ability to pay. So Stafford County is not alone. There are 29 senators that have signed on. And what happened, Mr. Chair, is the Commissioner of the Revenue reached out to me about this, and I said, I think the best thing we should do is try to get with the other Commissioner of Revenues in the Commonwealth and see if we can find those areas of high fiscal stress and impact, and let's try to kind of gather up that information, and that's exactly what we've done. So we've shared that, and I think that's why you see so many that have signed on to recognize that we've kind of got something we've got to deal with in the Commonwealth. So, any questions on this, or?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
We're here, listen.
All right. Second item is 120, number 4S. So this is K-12 education for middle school math pilot program. We do have this in the governor's budget, but just in case something goes a little sideways, as can happen when we get through the budget process, I did put a placeholder of $5 million in for this program. So it's based on, this started when I was in the House. We've continued this conversation over now that I'm in the Senate. And it started because we saw a lot of great success and measurable improvement with the General Assembly's Literacy Act, which was targeted at regaining reading learning loss exacerbated by the pandemic. And so the math competency is also facing a similar crisis to what we saw 4 years ago. And the 3 decades of data of achievements have been diminishing. And the data shows that 4th to 8th grade performance has dropped significantly since 2019. And the Commonwealth current statewide personalized tutoring program option is limited to concepts within the student's grade. So if you have a student that is outside that parameter of their If there's strands in the curriculum that go past a year before or before that, this statewide measuring program is only tailored for that grade. So it's not able to get into those gaps in the curriculum that the kid has, some of those important building blocks if they don't know how to divide by fractions and they're supposed to have achieved that mastery, that optional program is not going to be able to target that. So that's what this pilot program is looking to achieve, is to give that individualized, meeting students where they are. So I could go on a lot more about this one. I'm really passionate about it. That's why I chose it as one of the 2 priorities. But if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, members of the
Senator
committee.
French.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, committee members. This process here is not real comfortable for me. About the only thing I've been comfortable having for in my life is, could you pass some mashed potatoes, please? That's all we were allowed to ask for. So coming with my hand out is not, so my comfort level is a little low. We're here on item number 438, 27S. This is a situation in my district. I'm currently seeking $27 million for a bridge reconstruction project that is sole access point to the Seven Bend State Park located in Woodstock, Virginia. The park was opened in 2022, yet the bridge access to the park has not had any significant renovations. Currently, we get about 90,000 visitors to this park a year. The current bridge is a low-water, single-lane bridge, older, and it's consistently being blocked by flooding, accidents, and restricted significantly by its weight limitations. Working with VDOT, we have developed a plan to build a new bridge which would have 2 10-foot lanes and graded shoulders approaching the bridge. The road needs to be realigned, and the bridge will be slightly higher elevation, which would reduce the impact from minor flooding. The bridge was adequate for the residents before the state placed a park at the end of the road. But now, with increased traffic and the public need access for this park, time is now needed to replace this bridge. If the bridge does not be replaced, spent in maintaining the Seven Bend State Park will be a waste because of inability to access the park. When the plan was developed in 2021 to replace the bridge, the project had only cost estimated $12 million, proving that the longer we wait, the more expensive this project will become for the state. I could go on and on about this situation, but it's very dire. We cannot even legally get fire trucks across this bridge. This is a state road. We've put a state park there. We're inviting people every day to come out to this wonderful asset that we have, and we need to somehow try to figure out how to get this project underway. That's my request. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Senator Bagby.
Good evening, Mr. Chair,
Good evening.
members of the committee, money folks. I have 3 budget amendments, starting with 124 2S. And this amendment is for the Children's Museum of Richmond. I don't know if you had an opportunity to visit the Children's Museum of Richmond, but I encourage you to do so with your children or grandchildren. Particularly if you're here on the weekend and have some spare time, that's an excellent place to take your children or grandchildren. And this amendment provides assistance for the Children's Museum for their Dream Big campaign, which is a transformative project that will revitalize the museum's downtown exhibits and facilities and expand their reach and impact across the Commonwealth. And this is a larger campaign, and we want to seed $1.5 million into that overall campaign. The next is UBU 100, My Life Coaching Academy, and that's item 124 3S. This amendment provides assistance to UB 100 to expand the educational opportunities and career readiness programs they provide for at-risk youth, particularly at Martin Luther King Middle School, which is just a couple of miles from here in Richmond, Churchill. I went over and visited with them, and I was able to talk to the young people that are a part of the program, and really got an insight from them, because and what I was impressed with is they told me what the program was doing for them, as opposed to the coaches. And so UBU 100 is item 124.3S, and then Alegba Folklore Society is item 231. And this budget amendment will allow Alegba Folklore Society to enhance its programs and festivals to better enrich its residents and visitors to Virginia, as well as deepen the capacity for them to execute the work that they do. And particularly, there's some festivals that they sponsor here in the Richmond area, like basically wrapped around Kwanzaa and connecting people to Africa. The last one is Virginia Rep Theater, and that's item 231.3S. And if you all are not familiar with Virginia Rep Theater, it's right here on Broad Street across from Quirk, and is a pretty cool space, and there's rich history in this building. A gentleman that I'm fascinated by that has made a great deal of contributions, not just to Black Virginia, but overall Richmond, Virginia, is a gentleman by the name of John Mitchell. And he was one of the founders of this facility. And John Mitchell, amongst other things, ran for governor here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and also served on city council, had a newspaper. You all approved, well, I think most of you all were here, approved a license plate to honor him. And so Virginia Rep Theater is going through some tough times, and they need a little bit of assistance. So those are my budget amendments, and I hope you look upon them favorably.
Thank you, Senator Baggett.
Thank you.
Senator Salim.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the committee. The first one I have is item number 391, number 3S. And that specific amendment includes language directing Department of Criminal Justice Service to seek maximum grant awarded available from the Burn State Crisis Intervention Program authorized by the U.S. Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, and shall grant awards to establish a grant program no later than June 30th, 2025 to promote and train state and local law enforcement and Commonwealth attorneys to implement and enforce emergency substantial risk orders, which are our red flag laws. And this is essentially creating something so that we can get the fundings that are still available under the infrastructure bill. And I will leave it to that. And the second item that I have is going to be item number 109, number 7. I had a similar one last year, and this is specifically related to asking for about $20 million in general funds related to electric vehicle rebate programs funding, where we put in programs so allowing Virginians to purchase electric vehicles, yet we did not provide that $2,500 that originally was under the bill, and that is the simple ask for that bill. I know the amount is substantial. And the third item is actually not asking for funding, but this is item number 365, number 12. This is essentially a language change, and I kind of have to take you back to essentially two different steps. In 2023, the Virginia State budget appropriated $9 million in stormwater funding for the city of Falls Church. However, the final negotiated budget language only identified one project. So in 2024, which was last year, we had the language changed and approved so that it would go to the additional two stormwater that the city has. But during that implementation process, it was identified in coordination with DEQ that the language allocation into the Stormwater Local Assistance Fund did not clarify that no local match is required. This has been confirmed with the sponsors of the bill in the past, as well as the city. And we worked with DEQ, and their position is that the language does have to be clarified in order for them to release the fund. So the ask in this is to amend the 2024 $9 million stormwater budget amendment language to ensure that there's no local match requirement. So thank you so much, and those are the only ones.
Thank you, Senator Saline. Senator D. Steph.
Good afternoon, members of the committee, Mr. Chair. I have a couple of budget amendments that we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to be quick. And then I have a stack that I'm going to provide probably tomorrow of budget amendments that we actually put in, but we're not going to need. So we've gotten back from agencies that when we put in the budget amendment request, when they came back, they said that the bill didn't actually have a financial impact, and we guessed at it anyway. So we'll provide those tomorrow and just be able to eliminate them. The first one I have is 103, number 2S. It's natural gas, and basically it's requesting $7.4 million to bring the natural gas pipeline from Maryland 48.5 miles down into Accomack County, which will help with Wallops Island Rocket Lab, a lot of our expanding companies in the area, and will help us attract additional ones. For folks in Accomack, it'll also bring natural gas into the homes for individuals who have never had it. The second budget amendment is Charlie 5210, number 2S. And this is the Virginia Tech Agriculture Extension Center and Research Center up in on the Eastern Shore. This is asking budget language only. It was put in already. This is for a center that was built in 1955, and it looks like there have been very little or no renovations since that time. And the ARC up there, that goes back to 1890, so one of the oldest in the state. So we're asking for just continuation with that, but budget language, and there's a reason for budget language on this, which you all will be told, but to continue on with what we started in 2024. That's all I've got right now, so thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Senator Steph.
Yes, sir.
Senator Van Valkenburg. Senator Carol Foy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Turning your attention to item 288, number 33S, enhance maternal health technology and Medicaid, an integral part of the Momnibus to address maternal mortality in Virginia. This amendment provides funding for crucial maternal health technology programs and initiatives, including a pilot program where in 2024, Florida launched a similar program and monitored 2,500 pregnant people in Orange and Duval counties, and the program resulted in 50% morbidity drop among participants, as well as an overall drop in emergency room visits through the duration of the program. Also, we'll have a customized pregnancy app and remote ultrasounds. Item 34, number 5S, is requesting funding for a 6th Judicial Circuit General District Court judgeship. There has been found to be a need. Prince William County is growing exponentially, and the need for another General District Court judge is necessary, and we're asking for the necessary funding to make that a reality. Then on item 206, number 2S, Virginia Military Institute operational enhancements. This amendment provides $785,000 beginning in fiscal year 2026 to fund positions to enhance operations and planning across posts and support the utilization of a key facility with unique needs, specifically a senior level position to formulate the Institute's Forging 21st Century Leaders strategic program approved by the Board of Visitors in November 2023, a new position to enhance operations, and 7 positions to provide support in VMI's 58,000 square foot aquatic center, now fully operational and supporting VMI's unique ROTC training opportunities. Next, item 209, number 1S. Virginia Military Institute is requesting $750,000 in the general fund to purchase new laundry equipment. Also, the modification of the space within the infirmary female ward to expand its capabilities and to purchase new band instruments. Next, item 67, number 3S. This amendment provides increased funding for law enforcement for the purpose of hiring additional deputy sheriffs to align with the population growth estimates prepared by the Walton Cooper Center for Public Service at the University of Virginia. This funding will provide vital support for law enforcement agencies by allowing for the hiring of 315 additional deputy sheriffs across the Commonwealth. Also, item 415, number 4S, salary increases for Virginia State Police dispatcher positions. This amendment provides $750,000 from the general fund the second year to support a 9% salary increase for dispatch positions in Virginia State Police offices. Dispatchers serve as the critical first point of contact and play a vital role in the orchestrating of emergency response. The turnover right now for communications operators is 35%. And lastly, item 124, number 40S, ROTC High School recruitment and retention. This amendment provides approximately $3 million to Resolve Solutions Incorporated to improve recruitment, retention, graduation, and commission rates of ROTC scholars from historically underrepresented backgrounds through services provided to high school students. RSI provides critical mentoring, programming, and support systems and identifies a pipeline of promising young leaders to advise and reinforce success pathways through all academic and career phases. RSI guides students with high school college preparation, college readiness and excellence, and support systems for career development and leading the way for the next future military leaders of our great country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Carol Floyd. Senator Srinivasan. Srinivasan.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My first budget amendment is line item 124, number 29, yes. This budget item would appropriate $5 million in FY26 to Loudoun County Public Schools in direct aid for the planning, design, and development of a special education transition center for students with disabilities. The center will focus on career and technical education skills to facilitate workplace integration and improve students' quality of life. As many of us know, some students with IEPs face academic, behavioral, and social challenges that cause them to struggle to meet the requirements for existing CTE programs. Data indicate that 1 year post-high school, these students reported a need for enhanced training to access competitive employment. This transition center will serve students ages 18 to 22 through partnerships with local business and community organizations to establish job placement pipelines and help students successfully transition into the workforce. Investing in Transition Center is not just an investment in education, but in the future of all students, ensuring that they're prepared for success in a rapidly changing world. Thank you for your consideration. My next line item is, Mr. Chairman, is number 296, item 296, number 8S, for specially adapted resource clubs. This would appropriate additional $186,000 in FY26 for specially adapted resource clubs known as SPARK to support the program's expansion into Loudoun County. SPARK delivers essential day programs throughout Northern Virginia that provide educational and teach life skills with adults with disabilities who have aged out of K-12 programs and oftentimes have no other source of care. The Loudoun expansion was initially funded by the federal government, congressionally directed spending. but it is set to lose that funding in August 2025, leaving some of our most vulnerable residents without access to critical services. Through private grants, Spark has supported the cost of admin, equipment, and supplies for this program, but needs some additional support to cover 2 full-time staff positions and rent costs to continue in 2026. By investing in Spark, we ensure that those with severe disabilities have the opportunity to thrive, reduce isolation, and the long-term care cost of crisis intervention. Thank you for your consideration. My last priority item, Mr. Chairman, is number 438, number 7, This amendment would appropriate $500,000 in FY26 to support the construction of a pedestrian bridge at a dangerous intersection in the heart of my district. Many of my constituents have expressed serious concerns regarding the safety of the pedestrian crossing at this particular intersection. Between January 2016 and April 2021, 10 accidents have occurred there. 4 of them caused injuries, one of which was incapacitating. These incidents have exacted a significant physical and emotional toll on those affected, while many of my constituents have continued to face near-miss experiences. In response, Loudoun County has provided numerous safety recommendations, including the construction of a pedestrian bridge, which this funding would help implement. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Senator. Senator Pekarsky. Senator Perry.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm going to try to move through this relatively fast so you guys are not here all night long. First budget item I'd like to talk about is item 394, number 8S. It is a budget member request that is carried on the House side by Delegate Krizak. This relates to President Biden signed the fiscal year 2025 National Defense Authorization Act that relates to unmanned aircraft systems entities that deals with countering CCP drones, that deals with, here in the States, we shouldn't be having drones that are made of parts from our foreign adversaries. As part of that, our local law enforcement rely on hundreds of drones to engage in various activities, and this would help them phase out those drones and replace them as they age out with drones that are not created by our foreign adversaries to protect our national security. And the next bill I'd like to address is item 120, number 2S. This is a budget amendment related to the centralized local procurement pilot program. It was funded over the past 3 years using an American Rescue Plan, U.S. Department of Agriculture Supply Chain Assistance Grant. What it does and what it has been able to do is basically bring, because of the supply chain issues that we saw during COVID, a system was developed to bring local farm products to kids' schools. It covers a wide variety of regions in the state, but it's included more than 80 farmers and covered more than 700 public schools, reaching all areas of the state to include Nelson County, Farmville, Goochland, and Fauquier. And they've been able to not only bring local food into the schools, not just in volume, but help out in other ways through their cooperation on the same face-to-face with each other to include smaller size apples for elementary schools. Very cute. Next item is item 88, number 1S. This relates to the spotted lanternfly abatement. I'm sure the chairman is familiar with. They are destroying the wineries in Loudoun County. They are an invasive species, for those of you who don't know. VDAX got money from the federal government to help deal with this. In our conversations with them, they expect that money to abate. This money would help to deal with the spotted lanternflies and maybe one day be able to eradicate them. The next budget item is item 422, number 1S. This deals with the Leesburg Airport. The Leesburg Airport is the second busiest general aviation airport in Virginia. They had an issue maybe 2 years back now related to the air traffic control tower. They have one, and that air traffic control tower is no longer able to be used. They now are relying on a temporary air traffic control tower to try to make sure that we don't have any accidents and people can fly in and out there safely. And the town of Leesburg is requesting $600,000 from the state to help with that tower while they construct a permanent one. The next budget amendment is line 371, number 7S. This is a request from the Plains, which is a town in Fauquier County in my district. The Plains is working, they're requesting $25,000 from the state to deal with historic preservation of their area. Their town is about 175 years old, and they are seeking some funds to help boost their rural economy and spur economic development by attracting tourists and creating jobs. Through their research, they have come across the fact that the town of Plains is, the majority of their land was originally owned by women, which makes it unique in the state. Additionally, their preservation efforts have revealed 4 additional sites of African American historical interest dating back to 1867, including the Foster Hill African American School. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much, Senator Perry. Senator Rome.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to the members of the committee here. Let's start off with 438, number 5S. This is streetlights along Manassas Drive, Manassas Park. This is for $650,000. Situation that we got here is we've got a really outdated system of traffic lights, or basically streetlights, all along Manassas Drive, to the point that if you look at an illumination map, you'll see some areas that have a lot of very deep red for intensity, and then you'll have areas that are completely without. Then you'll have light intensity, the entire 2 miles or so of the street. It doesn't make any sense. It needs to be significantly upgraded with modern technology that will actually improve energy efficiency in the first place. So what I told the city government was, if you all are willing to put up half, I'll put in a budget amendment for the other half. So I'm making sure that Manassas Park has some skin in the game. All right, so let's go on to the next one. And this one is going to be item 124, number 30S. All right, so what's going on here? This is $2 million for City Manassas Parks, or for City Manassas Public Schools to operate a pilot alternative education program inclusive of $1,207,000, $680 for salaries, and a bunch of other stuff. What we're asking here is basically for the City of Manassas to be able to run its own alternative education program. Right now, they're folded into Prince William County Schools with it, and while we love partnerships like that, Prince William County only gives them a certain number of slots for their kids. City of Manassas has a growing amount of demand for this program right now. If they were able to run their own, they would be able to basically have a lot more students that they were going to be able to serve with the program here. That would be really, really good for the city. All right, so then let's go on to the next one. This next one comes as a request from the registrars. This is item 78, number 1S. General registrar's funding. So when I was talking to him post-election before we got in here this year, because of a whole lot of factors right now, they're saying, hey, we're swamped in a lot of these localities. We really need a second person. We need a deputy registrar. We need someone else who can really help out. And so this is $8.2 million that would help make sure that we're alleviating some of the burden, whether members are super into a lot of early voting like I am, or they're not, and that's okay wherever you fall on this. The fact of the matter is the registrars right now do need help processing everything that we do have going for them. And so this would make sure that they're not just burning out and stressed out. And now, Mr. Chair, the next one we will go to here is going to be item 09S. So when I was a kid, I was told by my mom, all right, you can have one big ticket item for Christmas, or you can ask for one, and then you can have a bunch of smaller ones. This is the big ticket. The big ticket would give you money. It would give you a lot of money, $471 million. And all you got to do is one thing, which is eliminate the data center tax incentive. They don't need it. Multi-billion and now even multi-trillion-dollar corporations do not need our taxpayer dollars. They don't. They don't. They don't need our money. Now, what I'm just going to say with this is you look at the JLARC report, and they said, hey, look, if you have unconstrained growth, here's what's going to happen. And we all saw it. All of our constituents are going to get hit in the pocket with this. If you have partially constrained growth, here's what's going to happen. We still can't. This is the option if you pursue it. And this was one of the policy options laid out in the report that says, all right, we can get our energy infrastructure at least up to speed to handle not only the existing demand, but what is already going to be slated to come online, let alone future development ones. And by the way, $471 million, Mr. Chair, think how many more budget amendments we could approve for this. We could probably even do some more tax cuts. It'd be great. All right, and let me see if we had anything else. Can we go back to that last page? Last one I'll do is 331, number 2S, assisting Northern Virginia food rescue. So what's going on with this one? Northern Virginia Food Rescue, they've had a significant increase, especially post-pandemic, of everything for food services. They're located in the Prince William County part of Manassas, right off of 66. They serve so many people right now, and they're overwhelmed. They need help.
The food rescue is basically a food kitchen then?
No, so what they do is, so it's a giant warehouse, and they're able to, or basically a whole lot of food goes in, they're able to distribute it to a lot of people in need. So it's not, yeah, food, well, more or less. But long story short with them is there's just such a significant demand for help right now, and they could really use it. So that's where that comes in. So thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the members of the committee.
Senator Rome. Senator Jordan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. First, I will ask if staff can pull up Budget Amendment 284S, and I'll wait for that. Guys are quick. Ironically, I'm coming before you. Before it was cool to talk about water, so now I want to talk about water, and it was not intended to be timely. So what this is the city of Portsmouth, which I actually happen to share with the chair, the other chair, and the city of Suffolk, a long time have a cohesive relationship with water supply and sharing, and we are well overdue for, unfortunately, the transmission main project to be upgraded. Basically, what we have is a low pressure system and high pressure transmission mains, and the city of Suffolk, actually parts of the city of Chesapeake and the city of Portsmouth are intrinsically tied going back to 1974 when the city of Suffolk sold our lakes to the city of Portsmouth and other localities. And we need a vital upgrade and replacement to the transmission main systems in regards to that in the district. And this would help fund phase one of that project. My second budget, are you all taking questions or just we're going to roll through? Okay, got it.
Your time to talk.
Thank you. Next up, I have budget amendment. Let's see, go back a little bit. 484-1S. This is as part of a bill that I am carrying, Senate Bill 1088. This came out of a study from JLARC. This is a bill we looked at last year. The report was completed, and this is for the enhanced retirement benefits for E911 operators. This is a locality option. We just put in a small amount for that just in case, but it is a locality option, and that is VRS enhanced benefits for locality E911 operators. Last budget amendment, I'll be brief, is item C16.10 1S. We actually had this in both budgets last year, and I think there was a snafu somewhere along the way that it was in the final budgets and then somehow disappeared. But what this amendment does, it provides $750,000 for Paul DeCamp Community College with a partnership with the city of Suffolk to do a maritime trade skilled academy, which is already underway. And so with that, I would take any questions from the committee.
Now, with that, thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Okay, have we heard anything from Senator Van Valkenburg or Senator Pekarsky? Okay, we got to give them we're going to give them a few minutes anyway. Okay. We'll be at ease then until we hear from them.
The Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, 1300. Did you know live Senate video is now available at youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Committee Room, 1300. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia.
We're back in business now. Delegate Van Valkenburg, you're only going to be punished about $6 million.
We've been so diligently
Senator.
at work helping all of your education bills pass. Senator Boysko had 3 bills. Senator Favola had 2. Senator Locke had 2. I can keep going. I'll be quick. I'm going to just do 3. I'll start with 119, number 1S. That is assessment tied to a bill that we just talked about in subcommittee. The governor put in money for assessments. I've been arguing for a while that assessments are kind of the soft underbelly of what is a really good public education system. But if we want to talk about how we can best improve classroom content, it's about making our tests better. They have historically been awful. No offense, that's just true. We just passed in subcommittee a bill that's about creating better SOLs that are more transparent, about putting guardrails around local assessments, and about fixing the testing process at the end of the year. And so this bill was not put in with the governor, but I wanted to alert us to this bill in light of that money, and also what I think is a really good opportunity to make our testing system a lot better, and therefore our classroom instruction a lot better. Second is 279, number 9S. This is about free clinics. Our free clinics they just do such important work. I've got one in my district that I don't know what we'd do without them. and they're really needing help. So are the local clinics, the local community clinics as well. But I really wanted to point this one out because these people keep us going, and I think it's really important that they get the help that they really actually just desperately need. And then third, I'll point out two, but the next one is 124, number 27S. This is Richmond Forum. They're asking for some money. We've got the national finals here, and the national finals want to come back. Typically, these national finals have been on the West Coast or in the Midwest. We're the first one on the East Coast in a long time. The Richmond Forum has reached out into debate for debate. Sorry. They've been expanding their debate program across the state, and they want to use this money to get even more integrated into communities outside of Richmond. But it's really been impressive to see what they've done in the last couple of years. It's been pretty inspiring, and it's a pretty cool program. The last thing I'll mention is 456, number 2S. I think I'm reading my reading right. This is Tech for Troops. These guys do awesome work in my district, but the thing that they really do is the intersection of tech and workforce for military veterans, and helping military veterans kind of get their tech skills up as they try to get jobs. And so this is about helping folks with their skills around technology and also around interviewing and resumes and all that jazz for techs, for vets who are ready to go into the workforce. And so it's a pretty cool group. They do a pretty cool thing, and I'm done. Thank you.
Senator Pekarsky.
Okay. Mr. Chair, thank you everyone for waiting. Apologies. The first one is 151, number 4S. It's just a language amendment, no money. I don't know if, I assume you want to hear them. GMU is seeking authorization to host the Virginia Climate Office, which was formerly run by UVA. They are not asking for any money at this time. They just want the ability to go forth and do this and partner with Virginia Tech ODU and VIMS, hopefully. Okay, that's the first one. Second one is 288, number 49S. This is for a vagus nerve therapy stimulator. Currently, the Medicaid payment does not cover the cost of the VNS device and procedure. Therefore, Medicaid patients that have drug-resistant epilepsy don't have access to this device. This, of course, results in them having to try numerous medications and trying to join wait lists at hospitals who may offer this. And it is a life-saving necessary procedure for them. So this request is for funding to ensure that they have access to this life-saving care and to increase the Medicaid payment and remove the cost barrier to these devices to folks who need them. Now, the last one is a bit of a larger number, 117, number 8S. This does have a bill associated with it. This is for the Restorative Schools in Virginia pilot program. We have seen, of course, that behavior is a huge issue in our schools. So this pilot program with the budget amendment you see before you is for $1.99 million. And this will include funding for hiring specialists for each district, support stipends for staff members to be able to work on these types of restorative behavioral practices and to support training. This is highly effective. It'll be available in all 8 regions, and it will support staff to implement the pilot program. Sorry, thank you. And just to clarify, there was funding for this, sorry, Mr. Chair, just for 8 schools, so this just expands the program that has been successful.
Okay, thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Senator Molkow was in which committee? Do you know? Was Senator Molkow with you?
Yeah, she wasn't downstairs with us.
She wasn't?
I did see her in the committee.
She didn't have a bill there. If I see her, I will send her.
Well, you want to give her a few more minutes to get here and then? we'll be at ease for a couple.
The Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, 1300.
We'll rise.
The Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, 1300. Did you know live Senate video is now available at youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Committee Room, 1300. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, 1300. Did you know live Senate video is now available at youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia?